On October 7, 1913, Henry Ford turned on a machine. A chassis began moving, 6 feet per minute. Workers stood frozen along the line. Each man had one task: install one part. The chassis kept moving. 12 hours to build a car became 93 minutes. The workers hated it. Within months, turnover hit 370%. For every 100 jobs, Ford hired nearly 1,000 men. They came, they worked, they quit. The line never stopped. Ford needed bodies. On January 5, 1914, he announced $5 a day, double the industry rate. The announcement hit newspapers worldwide. 12,000 men showed up in a blizzard. Ford met them with fire hoses. Speed made money. Money brought workers. Workers fed the speed. The machine ate them anyway. Highland Park opened in 1910. Albert Kahn designed it. Glass walls, 4 stories. They called it the Crystal Palace. Natural light flooded the floor. 14,000 workers built Model Ts the old way. Teams assembled complete cars. Skilled men moved around the floor. They knew every part. They took pride in the work. It took over 12 hours per car. Henry Ford watched. The demand was endless. The process was too slow. He needed more production. Skilled workers had power. They could walk, they could strike. Ford wanted to break that power. Experiments began in April 1913. First, the magneto line. Workers stood still. The magneto moved. Each man installed one piece. Then it moved to the next. Production doubled. Ford expanded the concept. More lines, more parts. By October, the chassis line was ready. A chain pulled complete frames past standing workers. Each had seconds. Install your part. The frame kept moving. One worker described the first day. The speed was unnatural. Your hands moved faster than your brain. You could not stop. You could not slow down. The machine set the pace. The line moved at 6 feet per minute. Every station timed to the second. Wheels rolled down ramps. Workers grabbed them. One worker stood at station 12. 4 bolts, 8 seconds. The chassis was already past you. Bodies descended from overhead. Workers guided them onto frames. The crane operator had no margin. Too slow and the line jammed. Too fast and workers scrambled. The rhythm was relentless. One man tightened the same bolt 8 hours straight. Another installed gas caps 3,000 times a day. The same motion, the same angle. Your wrist learned before your mind did. Foremen watched the pace. Any slowdown rippled backward. 30 stations depended on you. Fall behind and the whole line waited. Nobody wanted to be the reason it stopped. Workers began collapsing. The speed did not decrease. New men filled the spots. By late 1913, absenteeism was epidemic. 13,000 workers required 1,000 daily replacements. Men simply did not show up. Others walked off mid-shift. They left their stations without a word. The line kept moving. Someone else stepped in, or it waited. When it waited, Ford lost money. Every minute the line stood still cost him. Turnover hit 380%. To hire 100 permanent workers, Ford needed to process 963 men. 52,000 hired, 14,000 stayed. The rest burned out in weeks. Ford did the math. The problem was not the machine. The problem was keeping bodies at the line. Money could solve this. He announced $5 a day, January 5, 1914. The news went global. $5 doubled the wage. It cut the day from 9 hours to 8. Newspapers called Ford a saint. Workers called it survival pay. The announcement did not mention the conditions. The $5 was not a wage, it was profit sharing. You received $2.70 in wages. The remaining $2.30 was conditional. Ford decided if you earned it. January 12th, Implementation Day. 12,000 men appeared at Highland Park. The temperature was below zero. Ford security met them with high-pressure hoses. Men were soaked. Some changed clothes and returned. Others froze. The crowd did not disperse. Riots broke out. Police arrived. The plant closed its gates. Ford issued a new rule: 6 months residence in Detroit required. The stampede slowed. But men kept coming. From the South, from Europe, from farms and failing cities, Detroit's population exploded. In 1900, it was 265,000. Families arrived daily. By 1930, it reached 1.5 million. The influx was unprecedented. Families arrived with nothing. They needed the $5. Ford had them. But the money came with strings. The Sociological department formed in 1914. 50 investigators drove Ford cars. They spoke 14 languages. One investigator knocked on a worker's door at 7 in the morning. No warning. He walked through every room. He checked for cleanliness. He asked about alcohol. He opened drawers. He inspected savings accounts. The investigator asked the worker's wife if they fought. She said sometimes. He made a note. The worker's bonus was suspended. On the line, the body became machine. One worker described it later. The machine goes at such terrific speed that I can't help stepping on it to keep up. You did not control the pace controlled you. Hands moved automatically. The brain shut off. The monotony was physical. Standing in one spot 8 hours, the same motion hundreds of times per hour. Muscles remembered what minds forgot. By February 1914, 3 parallel lines operated. The output was staggering. 1,200 chassis rolled out in 8 hours. The machine had beaten craft. Speed had eaten skill. Workers started fainting. Some collapsed right on the line. Others went to the bathroom and never returned. No doors on the stalls. Even there you were watched. Surveillance was everywhere. Foremen timed every second. If you finished in 5, next week the standard became 4. The pace always increased. Ford called it speed up. Every week the line moved slightly faster. Bodies adapted or broke. But $5 kept men in place. Families needed the money. Workers endured. They came, they stood, they moved their hands. The machine never stopped. By 1915, turnover dropped to 1.4%. $5 worked. Workers stayed. Production climbed. Ford made millions. Other companies watched. They could not ignore it. If Ford paid $5, they had to. Wages rose across the industry. The working class became middle class, but the price was high. Work changed forever. Craft died. The machine dictated pace. People became interchangeable parts. One worker looked like another. One breaks, insert another. Production continues. The Sociological department dissolved by the late 1920s. Inspections became too expensive. Ford no longer cared about your life at home. He had something else. In the 1920s, Harry Bennett arrived. Boxer, sailor, thug. Ford made him head of security. Bennett built an army. Ex-convicts, ex-athletes. They patrolled the plant. They beat union organizers. The Sociological department watched your home. The service department controlled your body. Attempts to organize unions ended in violence. 1932, the Hunger March. Bennett opened fire. 4 killed. 1937, Battle of the Overpass. Bennett's guards beat organizers. Photographers caught everything. Arcs. By 1941, the United Auto Workers finally cracked Ford. The strike lasted 10 days. Henry Ford signed. The union won. But the line remained. The machine lived. Highland Park closed for assembly in 1927. Production moved to River Rouge. Bigger plant. More lines. Same system. River Rouge made Sherman tanks during World War II. Same methods, different product. The assembly line's legacy outlived the assembly line. Every factory copied Ford. Every industry adopted the line. Fordism spread worldwide. Japan, Germany, France. Everywhere the machine dictated pace. The workers who made it possible are rarely remembered. Thousands of names forgotten. Photographs show crowds at the gates, faces blurred. They were fuel. The machine burned them fast. But something changed. $5 revealed a principle. High wages create consumers. Workers who built cars could buy them. That idea transformed economics. America became a mass market. Detroit became a symbol. Progress and price. Growth and destruction. A city built on speed. A city that could not slow down. When cars moved south, Detroit hollowed out. Plants closed. Workers left. The legacy remained. Today, Highland Park stands empty. Glass broken, floors cracked. Where thousands stood on the line, now only silence. The building is a National Historic Landmark. It preserves not triumph, it preserves truth. The machine that ate the man looked like salvation. $5 looked generous. Speed looked like efficiency. But bodies told another story. Hands that trembled after shifts. Backs that ached after years standing. Minds that numbed from monotony. Ford proved you could pay a person well and still break them. High wages do not cancel inhuman work. Money compensates for some things. It does not make a machine human. The assembly line created mass America. Cars for everyone. Consumption for the masses. Migration to cities. New classes. New economy. The cost was hidden. It was not in dollars. It was in pace. A human can keep up with a machine for a while, but the machine does not tire. The machine does not slow. The machine just moves. 6 feet per minute, every day, until the human breaks. Ford called it progress. Workers called it hell. Both were right. Progress always costs something. At Highland Park, the price was known. Body for pace, mind for efficiency, craft for speed. The machine won, the human lost. But the human got $5. That was the deal. We still live with it. Every line descends from that day in October 1913. Every job that measures seconds comes from Ford. The pace that does not stop began there. Highland Park proved it possible. River Rouge made it permanent. The world made it normal. The machine always wins. It just outlasts you. The line never stopped. It still has not stopped. It just gets called something else now. Productivity, efficiency, optimization. The words change. The machine remains. 6 feet per minute. You keep up. You always keep up.